Welcome back to PT Meal Podcast, a buffet of play, therapies, movement, exercises, activities, and leisure, all packed in a hearty conversation of physical therapy, profession, and practice with a Filipino flavor. I am Johan de la Paz, your host. As always, thank you for joining us. So let's go straight to it. So today, we are going to fly off to another country to explore life as a physiotherapist there. We've been to the US, Australia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the latest was Canada. So if you haven't listened to those episodes, it's still in the podcast. Scroll down lang kayo in whatever podcast app that you're listening to. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or even in YouTube. Pwede nyong panoorin at pakinggan doon. So today we're going to fly off to the UK. And to share her story and more is Mayvhin Atienza. She graduated from the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. She's also a former clinical supervisor at Metropolitan Medical Center, Department of Rehabilitation Medicine, and she's currently a Band 5 physiotherapist at Central London Community Healthcare. Malalaman natin kung ano yung Band 5 kasi akala ko yun yung pangalan ng company. So, tatanungin natin mamaya. So, welcome to the podcast, Mayvhin.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Ayan. So, I'm very excited kung sa pag-usapan natin today. So, but before we really dive in dun sa topic natin, which is being a physiotherapist there in UK, kwentuhan mo muna kami. How did you become a physical therapist and what led you to where you are now?
At first, hindi ko man gusto, pero wala akong choice. Parang kumbaga, in PLM kasi, you have only 3 options. Either you got the first one or you got the second one. Parang ganon. So, my first choice sa course ko is nursing. Hindi kinaya yung jiwa ko ng nursing. So, my second option is physical therapy. So, yung physical therapy, wala akong knowledge about that. Sabi ko, science related ng nursing. So, I got into it, enjoyed it, especially during yung internship, tsaka yung pa-4th year na. Kasi medyo lie down na yung mga na dyan, yung mga theoretical stuff like that. So, na-enjoy ko naman siya. Then, I've graduated 2012. Tapos, home care, kasi nga hirap pa ng maghanap ng work. Then, naging din ako, nag-post din ako sa clinic. Doon ako nag-work sa clinic ng isang BPO as physical therapist. Then afterwards, nagka-opening sa Metro. So I joined Metropolitan, been staff for a year. Then afterwards, naging clinical supervisor. Then the rest is history. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now you're there in the UK. So where specifically in the UK?
I'm working in London, Central London Community Healthcare. So particularly, medyo magulo kasi yung London, para siyang Metro Manila. May mga, unlike Metro Manila, like cities, dito zone. So I'm working in zone 1 but I'm living in zone 4. Medyo malayo pero good ang public transport nila. So good.
Yeah. Binasa ko na nga pala London Community Healthcare. Malay ko ba, baka naman yung London nasa iba. Anyway, so unang tanong, bakit UK? Ano yung main motivation? Bakit mo gustong mag-work dyan, or why did you decide to pursue a career in the UK, in London?
At first, siguro nung nag-aaral ako, yung starting pa lang ng proper ng college ng physical therapy. Maganda na yung attraction ng UK. Like lagi nilang sinasabi na ito yung opportunities. So, pwede ka mag-Australia, pwede ka mag-US, may United Kingdom. So, feeling ko ang ganda sa United Kingdom kasi syempre UK is like, 'di ba, parang historically ang ganda ng place itself, ang ganda ng architecture. So, sabi ko, balang araw mag-UK ako. Then, for so long, dahil nga parang wala akong nadidinig kung paano yung processing ng UK for a very long time of working na plano kong umalis ng bansa. My first plan really is to go to Australia. Kasi yun lang din yung alam ko. And madami akong friends sa Australia na keep pursuing me na dito yung process. So, kino-continue nila, I mean, tinutulungan nila ako kung paano mag-process pa Australia. So, one time, nung mag-resign na talaga ako sa Metro, sabi ko, pasado na ako sa English exam nun for Australia. So, sabi ko, mag-resign na ako. Magpa-process na ako sa Australia. Then, what happens is, meron friend na nurse dito sa UK, high school friend ko, nagsabi siya sa akin na, try mo dito sa agency na to kasi nabasa ko sa advertisement nila, nagpa-process sila ng allied health. So what I did is nagpasa ako ng resume. Then after noon, December yun December 2020. Then this January 2021, natawagan ako for interview, initial interview, then final interview. So ano lang talaga to, parang kumbaga blessed and chance lang yung nangyari sa akin for UK itself. Wala akong knowledge about it. So, I just went to the interview. Then from there, nung nakapasa ako sa interview, tinulungan ako ng agency dyan sa Pinas, na mag-process ng HCPC, yung licensing dito. Pero other than that, medyo binaon ko na sa limot yung UK. Nag-start na lang siya nung nagpasa ako ng resume dun sa agency na yun.
Okay. And this is at the height of the pandemic.
For Australia, the height of pandemic, like 2020, mga second year na ng pandemic.
Oo. Kaka-anniversary ng discovery ng pandemic. So, medyo aligaga pa mga tao. Pero, what made you, what convinced you, sabi na sinabi mo, okay, UK na lang. At that time, parang, kahit sabihin natin UK, at that time, parang, mataas ang cases dyan Di ba? Pero what convinced you na, sige, try ko na lang sa UK? Aside from knowing the agency, what really pushed you?
Matagal, yun din tinanong sa akin ng dad ko nung nalaman niya nakapasa ko ng interview. Sabi niya, sure ka ba sa UK? Ang taas ng cases doon. Ang layo sa Pilipinas noon. Unlike Australia, napakalapit. Sabi ko, siguro siya, nabaon siyang dream ko. Di ba sabi ko nung college years, nag-aim na ako for UK. So sabi ko, UK talaga siya. Kumbaga, na-feel ko siya na parang I had better opportunity on UK. And at the same time, sabi ko nga, win or lose, ito na yung opportunity for me. Kahit mataas yung cases or what. I know the healthcare system dito. At hindi naman ako final nung feeling ko na magandang healthcare system dito. When I come here, maganda talaga ang healthcare system nila. So, walang fear on my mind in terms of going here. So, talagang sabi ko, dito talaga ako. And at the same time kasi, meron akong, sabi ko sa sarili ko is, kung aalis ako ng bansa, gusto ko sana doon sa bansa na walang exam. Mamaya, pag-uusapan natin yan.
What? Walang exam? Okay.
Walang exam. Second is, paperworks lang talaga yung sinubmit ko for my licensing. And lastly, wala masyadong Pinoy na physio. Unlike Australia kasi masyado na siyang populated like US. So I think mas mag-grow ako dun sa situation na medyo, hindi ko kasi alam kung medyo may pagka-introvert kasi ako. So feeling ko, mas gusto ko muna dun sa area na limited lang kaysa dun sa madami na masyado. Kasi feeling ko masyado siyang crowded for me. Parang ganun.
Gotcha. Okay. So na-mention mo walang exam. Puntahan na natin yung the whole process. Kasi ang parang ang bilis din no? Na sabi mo, December 2020, that's January 2021, that's when you were interviewed, tapos na nakuha ka. Then nandiyan ka na, 2022, you were there when?
2021.
Oh, ang bilis!
Actually, matagal siya.
Matagal na yun?
Matagal siya. Kasi pinipressure na ako ng agency nun Ang naging problem ko lang is yung licensing processing ko. Because of the pandemic, masyado siyang humaba pa, which is usually 2 to 3 months lang dapat. May license ka na. Yan yung mga previews pa, what I've heard of. Ganun siya kabilis.
Bakit hindi ko yan narinig before?
Yeah, ganun siya
Sana
kabilis.
nag-mate na rin ako. Good day, Mike. Good day.
Right?
Mike.
Are you alright? Are you alright?
Top of the morning, Mike. Ay, so pag-usapan natin yung buong process na sabi mong matagal na ng 10 months. Yung akin na hinintay ko ay like, nag-sign ako sa agency to 2012. Nakaalis ako 2016. So like 4 years ang tinagal ng akin. Pero yung sa inyo like, 2 to 3 months average. Tapos yung sa'yo 10 months, matagal na. Wow. Okay, pag-usapan natin. How did you start yung processing? Ano yung mga steps na kailangan gawin with the help of the agency?
With the help, sobrang helpful na agency ko.
Oh.
Ipo-promote ko na sila. ASC. Kasi sila lang din sila lang din, okay lang ba mag-promote? Sorry.
No problem.
Kasi sila lang din naman ang agency na nagpapalis for US. Ay, for UK,
Okay.
sorry. Okay. So yeah, ang ginawa ko lang is sa agency I submitted the resume, tapos may pinaprocess lang sila sa akin like POEA, tapos IELTS, yun pala. Unang-unang step for the UK processing is IELTS. Okay. You have to IELTS first na valid pa siya dun sa time frame na pag-alis mo or time frame ng processing ng papers mo. Ang IELTS score is dapat 7. Pwedeng may 6.5 kasi ako, yung writing ko is 6.5. So, but the average score would be 7.
Okay.
So, ang nangyari ko is parang speaking, listening, tsaka reading ko 7 and above. Then yung writing ko is 6.5. Pumasok siya sa 7 na total average score. After nun, nung napasa ko siya, niline up nila ako for initial interview. Then after 2 days ata, final interview na with the employer. Yung employer dito, yun yung trust na tinatawag namin, NHS Trust. So, thankful ako kasi parang government yung nakuha ko. Kasi may mga private companies din dito na nag-o-offer. So, it's a different, parang different practice also. So, after final interview nung nakuha na ako, yung agency helped me in gathering documents for my HCPC. So, madaming paperworks like college diploma, may form ang HCPC, which is the application form and the course information. Para siyang TOR. Yung course information, yun yung documents kung saan dapat ilalagay yung TOR mo. Hindi yung TOR ng school yung ibibigay mo. They have to type it on that form itself and you have to submit that one. And the application form, you have to submit that one. Yung processing ko is hard copy. So I have to mail it, post-mail siya. So slow mail, ginamit ko yung DHL. But as of my knowledge now, online na yung application. So mas madali na siya, scan na lang siya ng scan. Yeah, yun. Gather all the documents. Medyo madami siya. Hindi na ako ganun ka-familiar kung ano yung mga documents na yun. Pero I have opened also a group for Pinoy Physios, which I will, if you can link it to.
Yeah, mention yung name.
UK Pinoy Physio.
And we're gonna link it sa show description.
Yeah.
Once they post it.
Nandun lahat ng documents and processing itself. Pero yun, I gathered the documents. After gathering all the documents, I submitted it to HCPC. Doon na yung waiting time. Kasi sobrang tagal nila sa waiting time. So, nakuha ko yun after a month. Nakuha ko yung scrutiny fee in which I have to pay 485 or 490 pounds for that initial application para ma-startan na nila yung processing.
Ito yung pagiging license mo na as physiotherapist.
Yes, licensing na siya.
Okay.
Application form, so pinrocess siya after a month. Nang nagbayad na ako, nag-intay na naman ako ng 2 months para naman madala na yung papers ko kasi tinignan na nila kung kompleto yung documents ko, kung may kulang ako. Nag-email sila sa akin na wala daw stamp yung course information ata. Sabi ko, naka-dry seal. So, nung nakita nila yon, okay naman siya. So, dinala na ako sa second step, which is yung assessor. So, sa assessor, titingnan lang kung gaano ka practice-wise, kumbaga yung experience mo, yung school credentials, tapos syempre kung meron kasing NBI clearance, ganyan, tapos PRC. Sa PRC din kailangan yung makuha yung tinatawag na no pending case kasi important yun sa kanila. Tapos after nun, I waited for the assessors parang kanilang final say, mga 5 months. So it took me 7 months to process that application form, yung application process itself. Then I have to pay 200 pounds for the registration. So ganun yung process niya. You have to submit the papers, wait for the scrutiny fee para ma-process siya, mapadala siya sa assessor. Once na nasa assessor na siya, iintay ka lang ng ilang months or ilang weeks or I don't know, ngayon kasi months talaga siya, bago kanila ma-register as physio. So, it took me 7 months na usually 2 months or 3 months lang dapat. Ganun siya. Tapos no exam. Wala akong nasabing exam, right?
Oh, wala nga eh. Parang the documents, yada yada, 480 pounds, yada yada. Assessor, 200 pounds, yada yada. Then registered physio ka na?
Yes. Wow. Bali, ang masasabi ko kasi is, I don't doubt the credentials that we have back home sa Philippines kasi clinically, theoretically, yung curriculum natin, pasok na pasok sa kanilang curriculum itself. It's just that you need experience. So, lahat ng meron akong certificate, I submitted it all. Seminar, certificate, experience-wise. Sa application form, dapat mas detailed ka in terms of ano yung cases handled mo, ano yung alam mo as if ever man meron kang seminar for mobilization, yung mga manual technique, you have to put it in there para lang ma-prove mo na nagko-continue study ka at ma-prove mo na wide yung knowledge mo in terms of the practice itself.
Right. Oh, okay. So, all those time, while processing that, hindi mo alam tong process na to, tinutulungan ka ng agency mo?
Actually, tinulungan lang nila ako mag-gather ng information. Then from there, ako na lang yung nag-update. Kumbaga yung agent, sabi ko nga sa kayo kanina, pinapressure na ako ng agency na ano na yung balita, nakakuha ka na ba ng registration, kasi lasing ka na. July dapat aalis na ako. Kasi dahil na-move, naging October na siya. So yun, meron kasing mga, parang ang ginawa ko, meron akong group na pinasukan sa Facebook din, HCPC Physiotherapist, pero international siya. In which doon ako nakikibalita, ano na yung pinaprocess nilang buwan, saan ako matawag, ano yung contact number. Tapos every time, email lang ako ng email. So while waiting for that, nag-update lang din ako sa agency ko kasi nga hinintay naman ako ng employer ko, which is good.
So what was the role of the agency?
The agency, sila yung nag-process ng everything. Kasi after ko mag-HCPC, wala na akong ginawa.
Okay.
Kumbaga, pasa lang ako ng papers.
Okay. Pero pagdating mo dyan, is the agency your employer or direct ka na dun sa NHS?
Yun nga, dalawa kasi agency ko. Meron akong agency sa Pinas. Agency sa Pinas, meron silang agency dito, which is Drake Medocs. So yung Drake Medocs yung kakontak ni CLCH, yung employer ko. Kumbaga, an employer, naghanap siya ng agency na mag-recruit international. So nakipag sila sa Philippines. Pero pagdating ko dito, minute lang ako sa airport ng Drake Medocs team. Then afterwards, kay CLCH na ako nagko-contact.
Gotcha. So basically, parang ang dating na sa kanila, they were just staffing agency recruitment lang. Then once you went there, ang employer mo na talaga, yung company mo dyan na yung hospital, tama ba? Yung community healthcare.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Kasi yung may different kinds of agency kasi dito sa US na pag yung isang type, yung sa akin, na pagpunta mo, sila yung magpo-process, ganyan-ganyan. Pagpunta mo dito, they are your employers. Sila yung nagpapasweldo sa'yo, pero nasa isang facility ka, parang ganon. So, basically, nakakontrata ka dun sa agency for like 2, 3 years, depende. Tapos, ganon. Ikaw ang sa agency ka nakikipag-usap kasi sila yung employer mo. The other type is parang yung sa'yo na the agency would just get a physical therapist sa Philippines, tapos dadalhin dito. Tapos pagdating dito, ang kausap na ng PT ay yung facility na mismo. So parang recruitment and staffing lang talaga yung agency. So ganun yung help sa'yo. Pero that's good Ang bilis. I can't believe.
Bilis talaga. Sabi ko nga, para akong nabudol, pero this is a good budol. Kasi,
Oo.
after ko makuha yung licensing ko, hindi na ako naghintay ng, siguro 1 month. After a month, pinalis na nila ako. Siguro dahil nga short staff na din dito and medyo malaki-laki na yung nagastos and all. Kasi, sa totoo lang, I didn't pay anything sa agency.
Yun yung tatanong ko. So wala. Okay. Ang kontrata ng agency was with the Central London Community Healthcare. Okay, tama. So ang mga gastos mo lang, this was all for the processing of the papers, sending the documents out.
And even getting the documents. Kasi syempre, you have to pay for the certified 2 copy kasi lahat ng documents dapat naka-certified 2 copy siya.
Mm-hmm.
Yun. And at the same time, meron pa pala akong gastos IELTS kasi I take IELTS na before ako mag-apply and IELTS for UKVI kasi yung visa na IELTS na kailangan. So doon naman parang you have to have an average score of 5 para lang sa UK visa.
So dalawang IELTS sa kinuha mo?
Before the processing itself. Para sa processing kasi kailangan siya sa HCPC. And bago ako umalis, which is yung UKVI. Tapos IOM, para siyang medical certificate, pero hindi siya complete medical. It's just that TB screening lang siya.
Okay.
So, yun, nasa mga
hindi ganun ka-demanding yung medical.
Hindi ganun ka-demanding yung medical. Tapos, ano pa ba? Pocket money na lang. Tsaka yung mga dala dito. So, pagdating sa certificate of sponsorship, visa application, flight ticket, sagot yun ng agents. Sagot ng employer ko yun. And yeah, may mga offers din sila, which is yun nga, pagdating ko dito, sobrang laking tulong, lalo na kapag startup.
Ayun, exactly. My next question, how was the transition because compare yung my experience kasi the agency was responsible for the transition with training, with helping me find the apartment, with setting up licenses, driving school, banks, yung gano'n. So who helped? Did the agency help you or did your employer help you with that?
Employer na siya.
Okay.
So, bago pa lang ako dumating dito, nagbigay na sila ng conditional offer. Kumbaga, they will reimburse my registration fee sa HCPC, yung 200. So, nire-reimburse nila yun.
Wow.
Even may IELTS, nire-reimburse nila. Isang IELTS yung nire-reimburse nila. Then, nag-offer din sila ng 2 months free rent.
Wow.
That's
helpful.
Company accommodation na 2 months free rent. So, sila na naghanap nun. Tapos, wala kang babayadan sa kanila. Ang nangyari lang is, nung pagdating ko, minitap ako yung Drake Medocs team. Tapos sila nag-arrange ng transport ko dito papunta sa company accommodation. Tapos from there, one of the employers from CLCH, buti nga Pinoy din siya, yung nag-meet sa akin. Kung hindi, aga-aga, kakababa mo pa lang ng airplane, di ba? So yun, tinulungan niya ako with regards to what bank to open. Mahirap kasing kumuha ng bangko dito, ng physical bank. So, kumuha muna ako ng online bank. which is okay naman kasi para lang ma-process kasi kailangan na for HR kasi papasok na ako the following month. So yun, online banking, tapos sinamahan din ako mag-ikot kung saan yung mabilis na grocery store, saan yung ganito, saan sasakay, ano yung, kumbaga may mga, hindi naman trainings, pero ginaid niya ako kung saan ako sasakay, ganito, kung ano yung mga dapat kong application sa phone na kailangan na very vital when you live here in London. Tapos sinamahan niya nga ako sa accommodation. Then nagbigay sila ng tinatawag naming oyster card, which is here, like this. Yeah. So, dahil public transport nga siya, free siya for 4 weeks. May 4 weeks akong free na transport.
Is it
So,
train and bus?
Train and bus. Yeah, so napaka-generous ng employer ko. So, yun. Tapos, from there, in contact na ako with HR. Sila na yung nag-guide sa akin ano yung mga documents na ipapasa ko, paano yung processing, saan ako mapupunta, sino yung magiging line manager ko, ganyan. So, pero pagdating dun sa train, tube, transportation, may kamag-anak kami dito na nag-help lang din sa akin to guide that one. Pero other than that, the employer helps me in every step of the way. Bago talaga nila ako pakawalan na magbayad ng company rent dito sa accommodation namin. Yeah.
Listening to you, parang sabi ko, parang gusto ko lumipat dyan. Iniisip ko, London. Parang ang sarap ng tunog ng London.
London, yeah.
Sana nag-work sa London. Uy!
Hindi siya too good to be true kasi totoo siyang mangyayari sa'yo. Kung ano yung in-offer nila sa'yo. Which is very thankful talaga ako sa employer ko kasi kung ano yung in-offer nila sa'yo, yun talaga yung makukuha mo.
Ang galing, ang galing. Ang galing, ang bilis.
Natatawa ko din.
Na-shock ako. Hindi ako makapagsalita. Bakit hindi ko naisip yung London noon?
Walang processing dati. As in, sobrang hirap ng processing dati. Kaya talagang nabaon na siya sa limot kung paano mag-process dati. Unlike ngayon, dahil nga siguro may agency din, mabilis na lang siya. Pero mind you, meron akong friend, nakasabay ko siya sa interview dahil hindi man siya nakuha sa interview. Sumabay siya sa akin ng processing ng HCPC. Then afterwards, ang ginawa niya is naghanap siya ng private company. Tapos, nandito na siya ngayon. Pero din yung processing. Unlike mine, na agency yung nag-process ng documents ko, siya yung nag-process together with the mismong company dito. Wala silang agency doon sa Philippines. So, medyo mahirap yung processing.
So, yung sa kanya, yung direct route, direct employer route. Okay. So now, you're working there. You're working there with a working visa? Okay. Paano ang processing dyan to be an immigrant or permanent resident?
As far as I know, meron kasi akong 3 years na visa dito. So after nun, I can ask them to extend me for another 2 years. Hanggang 2 years lang kasi yung pwede nilang i-offer after the year.
Okay.
Kasi on your 5th year, you have to process your ILR, your residency permit. Then after a year, pwede ka nang mag-process ng citizenship. So 6 years lang ako take, yeah. So alam ko kasi yung after mo 3 years, yung another visa application tsaka certificate of sponsorship for 2 years, ipaprocess ata. I'm not particularly sure about that one still. Ipaprocess siya ng employer ko. Pero pagdating sa residency and on my citizenship, ipaprocess ko na siya. Ako na yun. And I will pay for it. Medyo mahal siya. Yung residency at citizenship wise.
Okay. Wow. Na-stun talaga ako on how fast and how easy it is to apply. All this time, I thought ang hirap sa UK. I thought it's like Australia na mayroong practicals. I thought na it would be like Canada before na they won't accept your bachelor's kasi hindi ka K-12. So, ang dami kong misconceptions na. Anyway. Okay. So, how are you liking UK life?
You ayoko talaga ng weather. Coming from a tropical country, the weather is like, oh my God talaga. Pero, and at the same time, yun nga, pag winter, mabilis dumilim. Ngayong summer and spring, sobrang tagal naman dumilim na minsan habang naka-open yung window mo, 9 o'clock na pala, ang liwanag pa din, mga ganong type. Pero UK life, very chill in terms of, they practice work-life balance, which is talagang totoong work-life balance talaga siya. Unlike sa Philippines, kasi coming from, yun lang talaga yung experience ko from the Philippines itself. Kapag sinabi mong out of duty, hindi siya out of duty. Kahit pag sinabi mong leave ka, parang nakafocus pa din yung self mo na, shucks, naka-leave ako. Hindi ko masyadong ma-enjoy. Kumbaga, unlike dito, pag sinabi mong time off by 5 o'clock. Minsan pinapagalitan pa ako ng senior ko and ng manager namin na kapag nakita niya na 5 nandun pa ako, anong oras na? Anong oras ka matatapos? Ganyan. So you have to time in ng on time, time out ng on time. At the same time, pag sinabi mong leave, mabait sila sa leave. So, yun din yung kinagulat ng mga friends ko. Kasi kaka-start ko pa lang, meron na akong 27 days of leave. So,
Right
ang nangyari,
away?
right away, yeah.
Wow.
Kasi parang dito, meron silang cut-off ng April to March. You have, how many, 275 hours of leave. So, technically, mga 30 days siya. Except Saturdays and Sundays. So, yun. Kailangan mo siyang ma-accumulate kasi hindi siya binabayadan as cash. Hindi siya convertible to cash. Hindi rin siya pwedeng maipon ng maipon. So, kailangan mo
talaga.
So, since pumasok ako ng October, so yung October hanggang March ko, meron akong 2.5 or 2.5 hours or 2.5 days per month. So, na-accumulate ko siya, tapos ginamit ko siya lahat ng March kasi hindi ko naman alam kung saan ko siya gagamitin. Parang kabago-bago ko pa lang. Noong una yun yung nasabi ko, kabago-bago ko pa lang, nakakahiyang mag-leave kasi sinabihan ako ng line manager ko, patapos na yung time frame, hindi mo ba kukunin yung leave mo? Sabi ko, kailangan po ba talagang kunin yung leave ko? So, okay. So, pinayagan niya ako 2 weeks, March. Wala akong pasok. Ganun sila kabait sa leave. Basta mag-a-advance ka lang sa kanila. Saka yun, very important ang study leave also. May mga study leaves. Bukod pa siya sa annual leave. Bukod pa siya sa sick leave. So,
Saan mo
madaming leave.
gagamitin yung study leaves? Conferences?
Conferences, yeah. And at the same time, ang kinagandahan ng mga employers dito, I'm not sure with other employers, but ang kinagandahan ng NHS is they provide academy. We have a CLCH academy kung saan madami kang makukuha doon na courses, short courses, a day, half day, or like me, I'm in allied health professional, yung mga startup courses. So 6 months yun, once a month. Tapos I will need to file lang yung leave na yun. Tapos block na nila yon na hindi ka on duty, you're on your study leave, you're on your seminar or training.
Please. Nagkamali nata ako ng bansa na pinili. Parang gusto ko yung ganyan. Gusto ko yung may work-life balance. Your license.
Ang pahirap lang dito is yun nga, medyo mahal talaga. I mean, siyempre London. Yun nga, with London kasi, iba yung salary ko. Diba? I have my salary. At the same time, meron pa kaming parang allowance, something. Ganun. Para lang ma-fulfill mo yung bigat ng expenses mo dito.
Okay.
So, yun lang yung mahirap. Siguro ang mahirap lang sa UK life is you have to be talagang independent. Although alam ko naman abroad, everyone is independent and everyone should do everything like household chores and everything. Yun lang. Yung transition lang of doing it on your own. Like, ikaw na yung mag-visualize kung paano mo siya isi-sink in. Kasi I'm working Monday to Friday. May Saturday and Sunday is my errands day. So, kung paano mo masisink in grocery, laundry, ganyan. So, yun lang yung siguro adjustment. And at the same time, yun nga, sabi ko, Monday to Friday nakakapagod mag-English. So, pag weekends, Tagalog lang tayo. So, I'm with meeting friends pag weekends na Pinoy para medyo makapag-energize for the following week.
Right. Ang running joke nga namin dito, nung kasama ko yung mga friends ko sa Maryland, like, after 5 p.m., wala nang English. Tagalog na tayo. Hindi na gumagana yung utak ko sa English. Our weekend, walang English.
Kasi parang IELTS every day, no? From speaking to writing.
Yung tipong nag-oral revalida ka the whole day, mag-i-explain ka sa pasyente mo, tapos hanggang bahay ba mag-i-English ka pa? Diba? Anong pagod naman. So yung license mo as a physio there, how long before you renew it? Gano'ng katagal?
2 years.
2 years din. Tapos may kailangan din ng mga CPDs, gano'n? Continue education?
And ang sabi sa akin ng senior ko, since bago pa lang kami, we don't need to provide CPD. So, ang nangyari is like you have to just renew it, pay for the registration fee, then that's it. And afterwards, you have to accumulate CPD. Yes, which is makukuha namin siya sa in-service trainings namin kasi every week meron din kami in-service training as a therapy team. So, counted yun. Tapos, seminars from the academy that I have. Tapos, reflective practices. It's dito kasi more of talaga sila marami silang essay type na proof for CPD itself kung paano yung naging reflection mo on your practice on this month, kumbaga ano yung mga na-learn mo from different kinds of patients. Pwede ka din mag-submit ng case studies. Pero pagdating sa ganun, yung mga submission ng mga documents and stuff, lang siya, pili lang siya. Hindi siya lahat kailangan mag-submit. So, pili lang siya, pero you have to accumulate CPD. Wala naman siyang requirement. Ay, hindi ko pa sure kung how many points or how many trainings or seminars you have to have. Kasi, di pa namin masyadong nadidiscuss. Pero other than that, yun nga, kailangan mo pa rin ng CPD.
In some states here in US, yung first renewal mo, hindi pa kailangan kasi first naman eh. Yung mga succeeding na yan, kailangan. Pag-usapan natin yung Band 5. Anong ibig sabihin ng Band 5 Physiotherapist? Akala ko talaga yun yung pangalan ng company mo. Band 5.
Dito kasi, para masabi mo na mayroon kang appraisal or tumataas yung posisyon mo. Unlike sa Philippines, for example, staff, clinical supervisor, assistant chief. Parang kumbaga ganon siya. Ganon siya dito. So ang pinaka-startup ng mga international, if I'm not mistaken, ang mga international AHP or mga allied health professionals, Band 5. Okay. So Band 5, kumbaga, bagong staff ka lang. Tapos as you progresses, ang progression dito, hindi siya ganun kahirap. Ang, kumbaga, para masabi mo na magba-Band 6 ka is you have kunyari gusto mo mag-Band 6. Band 6 is like a senior senior staff, parang gano'n. So may ang alam ko kasi dito, Band 5, Band 6, senior staff. Band 7 is parang siyang clinical supervisor. Yun. Band 7 yun. Then Band 8 is the line manager, which is the chief of the team. Tapos, when you want to increase or when you want to go with Band 6, wala kang training, walang seminars. Kung may makita kang posisyon for Band 6, go for the interview. Kung matanggap ka, Band 6 ka na. That's it.
Walang experience requirement?
Wala siyang experience requirements. So, pagdating din naman sa, yun lang, sa Band 6 medyo, kung comparison ko ngayon as Band 5, mas clinical ako. In terms of, mas madami ako na-handle na patients. Pag Band 6, medyo mix na siya with admin duties. Medyo mas madami ka ng responsibility with admins. Pag Band 7, limited na yung clinicals mo into 2 patients. Tapos, more of admin ka na. Band 8, kapag talagang more of admin na sila, Bihirang-bihira na lang. Pag special cases lang sila nagha-handle. Kunyari kapag may hindi ka na talaga kailangan na, kunyari may patient ka talaga na gusto mong makita ng pinaka-senior, saka lang siya pupunta sa'yo to help you.
Okay. So parang ano siya, ito lang, applicable lang ba to sa government institutions, yung mga band? Lahat. Okay.
Pati private.
Okay. Kaya parang naaalala ko yung mga plantillion, like grade scale na GS, ganon. Okay. So, describe to us ano yung difference ng practice mo dyan sa UK na pinagkaiba sa Philippines or other similarities as well.
Ang similarity siguro, yung work ko kasi, madami kasing type of work dito. Yung employer ko, since community siya, wala kami sa hospital. Hindi kami hospital duty. Ako, as an allied health, meron silang ino-offer like bedded unit, tsaka community. So, bedded unit is like inpatient siya. Pero isang unit siya, like for me, I'm working na bedded unit sa isang nursing home. Pero hindi yung mga patient from the nursing home yung kinikater ko. So parang ganun siya. Kapag community naman, para siyang home care. Ikaw yung pumupunta sa bahay ng patient. So sa bedded unit, kami yung discharge to assess or yung mga step down. So if the patient comes from the hospital and they want to go home, they have to undergo 14 days of short stay rehab on our unit, which is the bedded, para lang ma-increase yung mobility, yung transfer, yung independence nila, para alam namin kung saan sila papadala. Kung sila ay capable going home, sila ay capable of going home alone, sila ay capable of going home with carers that supports them, or sa interim placement sila. Papadala namin sila or papaprocess namin sila for care homes. Ganun siya. So, yun lang yung difference. And at the same time, since sabi ko nga, we have to assess the patient to go home independently or to go home as functional as possible. Unlike sa Philippines, kasi di ba sa Philippines, come and go. Lalo na kapag outpatient, papasok sila, or inpatient kapag stable na yung condition nila, uuwi na sila. Ganon. Tapos more of exercises lang. Sa Philippines, exercises lang, education, tapos titingnan lang kung magdi-decrease yung pain and stuff like that. Dito more functional. So sabi ko nga, ang practice lang namin dito is paano maglakad si patient from bed to the toilet. That's it. Kung ayaw na ni patient, maglakad papunta sa hallway, pahinga muna siya. Tapos we provided exercises. So dito, more functional, like tinuturuan namin sila kung paano yung proper way from the bed to sit down on the edge of the bed, how to stand from sitting on the bed or sitting on the chair, then walk to the toilet using aids. Tapos, assessing lang din kung paano sila mag-wash and desk, kung paano sila, together with the OT, wash and desk, meal preparation. Then, doon namin ma-check kung si patient ay, kasi kadalasan lahat ng patient dito is living alone. So, ang question dyan is, paano sila magbubuhay ng mag-isa sa kanilang flat or sa kanilang house. So kami ang nag-a-arrange on my work kung kailangan nila ng carers to support. So meron kaming parang four package of care. Kumbaga may mga carers na pupunta sa kanila ng morning, lunchtime, tea time, or dinner time to help with everything like washing, dressing, mobilization itself, hanggang sa maka-recover sila. But at the same time, yun nga, i-refer namin sila sa home care physios na pupunta sa kanila. So, ganun yung work ko dito. And ang mga cases na na-handle ko, same lang din sa Philippines, general condition. So, kadalasan fall patients, elderly. Wala kami masyado. Although tumatanggap kami ng mga young adult, ganyan. Pero mas elderly. So, yung mga naoperahan. So, ngayon medyo kami may mga spinal cord injuries naman yung hawak namin. So, depende siya sa dating ng cases. So, hindi namin siya napipili, kumbaga. Ganun. At ang kinagandahan dito compare sa Philippines is hindi kami, dahil nga sabi ko, work-life balance. 11 beds lang kami. So, technically, I only handle maximum of 5 patients per day. Yeah. Maximum of 5 patients per day. With clinical to ha, clinical. I mean, handling therapy-wise itself. Pero yung admin part, like, yun nga, yung tinatawag namin key working in which we have to facilitate the discharge of the patient, talking to the family of the patient, preparing or requesting for the package of care. Medyo hanggang 3 caseload yung kinahawakan ko. Ganon siya.
Maganda naman kasi yun kasi parang parang ang laki ng impact ng what you're doing sa care ng patient na ikaw magde-decide kung saan siya mapupunta at kung how safe or independent the patient is to go back home. Yun. How about documentation wise? Kasi yun yung isa sa mga differences natin sa Philippines. Kasi sa Philippines, well, we document pero it's not as big of an impact like for me. Kasi dito, it's more insurance heavy. So the documentation is really vital na hindi mababayaran yung company pag hindi maganda yung documentation mo or something like that. So in the UK, in there, how's the documentation like?
Very vital din siya. Kasi, yun nga, ang isa pa sa UK life kasi is yung, di ba, salary mo wise is mababawasan siya na madami. Pension ng NHS, insurance, and tax. So since you're paying for an NHS insurance, unlike dyan sa US na may mga private company or yung mga Medicare, ganyan, na parang kailangan maganda yung documentation mo for you to be paid. Dito kasi, dahil free nga ang healthcare system, as in free, everything. Even the equipments that we provide for the patients, they don't pay for it. So, very vital ang documentation dito. May ultimo yung call from the next of kin. Kailangan mo siyang i-document. Kasi lahat kailangan, siguro ako mabusisi lang ako sa documentation kasi I want everything documented para kapag nagkaroon ng issues or something, nandun lahat.
Tama naman.
Hindi siya katulad nung sa inyo na kapag hindi maganda yung documentation mo, hindi ka magiging paid. Kasi nga, free talaga ang dito. It's a matter of gaano ka lang kabusisi mag-notes. Kasi may mga notes dito na therapy session, ito lang yung ginawa. Then after, SOEP din siya. Meron nga lang din kaming tick box, kumbaga may format na. Doon sa system kung ano yung like sa initial, kung ano yung i-upload mo na notes. So nandun na siya. Yun lang, hindi vital siya pero hindi siya ganun na hindi mababayaran yung company itself.
Gotcha. Any challenges on the practice so far na experience mo?
Siguro kung sa Philippines, yung abbreviations, tsaka yung mga terms nila minsan, doon yung medyo challenging. Like, sa Philippines, ang alam mo is cane. Dito pala, walking stick ang tawag nila.
Okay.
Sa Philippines, ang tawag nila dun sa walker. Kasi minsan, doon talaga ako naguguluhan yung sa walker, Zimmer frame, or relator frame. On my first few months, so yun yung talagang sinasabi ko na I will use walker for the patient, ganyan-ganyan. Sabi niya, what walker? Relator frame. Zimmer frame, relator frame. Tapos, challenges pa using different types of aids. Kasi sa Philippines, di ba, mano-mano tayo. Kung kailangan mong i-lift si patient, ililift mo siya, 2-person. Kung kailangan mo siyang patayuin, guard belt, knee-to-knee, parallel bars, physical. Dito, madami siyang aids like hoist, which is unfamiliar to some people. Like, kunya, sa amin, sa PLM, hindi kami masyadong nag-hoist kasi wala kaming hoist. Wala kaming ganyang equipments. Yan, hoisting, mga transfer aids like Sarah Steady, return. So, pinapadali nila ang buhay natin kasi ayaw natin sumakit ang ating mga likod. So, yun yung siguro isa sa mga challenges na very thankful din naman ako kasi may training sila. Before you use everything, kailangan i-take off nila na qualified ka or okay ka na gawin yung isang bagay. And with regard, siguro lang din, in terms of explaining to the patient, Kasi yun pa yung tinatansya ko. Kasi dito parang sila ay straightforward. Like, kailangan masabi mo siya ng wala kang kailangan i-hold back. Kasi tinatanggap
Ah,
naman nila. Unlike
okay.
sa Philippines, kailangan may palabok pa eh.
Gets,
Diba?
gets, gets.
Yan. Kailangan palabukin mo pa, kailangan mga bulaklak pa yung kailangan mong sabihin sa kanila dito. Kapag sinabi mo,
Iikot mo muna bago mo tumbukin.
dito, talagang straightforward sila. Alam nila yung condition nila, gusto nilang malaman na anong nangyayari sa kanila, which is good. And with regards to, minsan communication din. Kasi nga, accent-wise, ng mga patient, accent-wise ng mga kasama ko. Kasi European, kasi ang London, hindi siya, misconception ng iba, na parang kapag London or pag UK, lahat sila Brits or lahat sila white British. Hindi po. Ang London is very multiracial. So in a team, lalo sa amin, sa team namin, may European, may Asian, tapos may Middle Eastern na race. So medyo siya, nag-iiba-iba pagdating sa communication wise. So more on pardon, can you repeat that again? Ganon. So yun yung mga challenges siguro kasi minsan hindi ma-convey ng maayos yung conversation. But other than that, very helpful yung mga senior, and at the same time, mababait yung patients dito. Racism din also. May konting racism. Yun. May konting racism, pero siguro ganun lang talaga sila. Sarcastic.
Okay.
Not all,
Not
but
offensive.
not offensive. Pero, kumbaga, yun na yung kanilang ways. Pero, not that, hindi ko masasabing racism na racism talaga siya. Pero more of parang kung kapag sinabi sa'yo, tapos mga 5 minutes i-absorb mo, ay, parang sarcastic yung pagkakasabi niya. Pero sa kanila, hindi siya bad. Kumbaga, ganun lang sila talaga.
Do you get a second opinion from your coworkers? Kung is this how does that sound to you? Parang ganun.
Yeah. Yun yung maganda dito. In fairness naman sa kanila, they're very vocal, especially our team. They're very vocal if they don't know anything. Like, hindi ako familiar dito. Pero sasabihin nila na, I'll try to look into it. But what's your opinion about it? Which is very good. Yun yung pinakagusto ko dito eh. Yung, if you don't know anything, hindi ka sasabing stupid or bakit hindi mo alam yan? Hindi. They will try to help you as much as they could.
Nice. Dun sa accent, it's fascinating for me. Like when I'm watching yung mga UK shows like Graham Norton, tapos they would have like different accents. Tapos pag-uusapan nila yung mga accents, parang they know each region, they know what accent that is. So, paano nyo alam yun? Parang lahat, iba-iba na nga yung accent, pero alam nyo from saang region siya nanggaling. Parang, wow, ang galing-galing. Tapos, ang nakakatuwa nga na, like, pagpunta natin sa ibang bansa, we have all this equipment, tutulungan tayo sa work natin as physical therapist, na sa atin sa Pilipinas, na dapat nga tayo yung promotor ng biomechanics, ng safe movements, pero wala tayong ganun karaming equipment, no? Na parang nakakapagtaka na available naman pala, bakit hindi tayo tinutulungan ng mga hospital natin doon at kumpanya para hindi naman sumakit likod natin, mano-mano pa rin tayo ng buhat ng pasyente, papalakad ng ganun. Di ba?
Dito napaka-gaan, lalo na pag-transfer ng patient. Pag ayaw na ni patient, steady mo na yan kasi ayaw perform. So the following week or the following day, ita-try mo pa din naman siya.
Exactly.
Ganun.
Right. So pag-usapan naman natin, napag-usapan ka natin medyo malaki yung bilihin sa London. So ano naman yung average salary ng physio dyan? Entry-level physio. Ano yung range?
If I'm not mistaken, nasa 25 to 27.
Pounds?
As band 5 yun ha, pounds, yeah. Annual. Tapos, depende pa yun. Kasi dito, yun yung sinasabi nila, based on the nurses itself naman nakakausap ko. Since same ang, di ba, banding siya. So, mapunta ka man outside London or mapunta ka man dito sa London, kung ano yung sweldo mo for that band, yun lang yung makukuha mo. So, ang kinagandahan lang outside, syempre, mas mura yung pamumuhay outside London with the same amount that you have compared kapag nasa London ka. Pero kasi pag nasa London ka, may tinatawag kaming high cost allowance in which kung bibigyan ka ng extra allowance ng company kung saan ka man mapunta. So meron pa silang sa health high cost allowance, may tatlo silang partition like kung sa inner London ka, kung sa outer London ka, or kung sa fringe ka. Yun yung mga zone 8 to zone 9 na. Yun. So, roughly siguro papalo yung sweldo mo mga siguro mga 27 annual.
27,000?
27,000 annually pounds. Pero you have to know na malaki yung babawas sa'yo ng NHS pension, malaki yung babawas ang tatlong bawas kasi, national insurance, NHS pension, saka tax.
Okay.
So, medyo malaki din sila. So,
Then,
ganun.
Then your net would be average net ng isang professional.
25 pounds.
Okay.
25,000 pounds annually. Pero kung monthly siya, siguro mauuwi mo is mga roughly 1.5 monthly.
Tapos, for example, one loaf of bread, magkano one loaf of bread sa UK, sa London?
Ay, ang kinagandahan dito, madami kang options. Doon ka pupunta dun sa medyo cheaper. Kasi, sa napapansin ko dito same brand, pero different grocery stores, different prices.
Okay.
So, pumupunta ako dun sa medyo affordable. So, you can buy 50 pence for 50 pence. Parang ano siya?
Cents?
Parang cents. Parang siyang cents. Kasi ang squid na, 1 squid or 1 pound is equivalent to 67. So, mga parang 30 pesos in the Philippines. Makukuha ng isang loaf. Yeah, 50 pence.
Right? Mura yan. Kasi like,
kung doon ka sa grocery store na
mura. Yung sa amin, na murang store din. Parang ang bread ay parang $2. So that's 100 pesos. So mahal. Diba? Pilipino pa rin tayo, kino-convert pa rin natin. Kino-convert pa rin natin sa mga peso.
Pero kasi, siguro dahil mura ang bread nila dito kasi yun yung staple food nila. Pero pag rice yung bibilin mo, medyo mahal.
Rice mahal.
Kasi staple talaga nila ang bread. So, lahat ng grocery shop mo, different kinds of bread nandun siya.
Akala ko potatoes. Dito yata yung potatoes. Jan bread.
Yeah, potatoes din. Pero mas madaming, kasi madalas bread lang sila talaga. Toast. Ano na lang toast.
Toast. Alright. For you, is it better to work there than in the Philippines? In your okay.
Kasi, salary-wise, triple, 4 times your salary. And at the same time, yun nga, pinagaan nila ang buhay ng mga physio. And maganda ang progression dito in terms of training. Kasi you will learn. So while unlike sa Philippines kasi work. Patient. Dito kasi work-life balance is good. They will provide you trainings, they will provide you seminars, they will support you. And ang kinagandahan pa dito is, unlike the Philippines, na sabog yung healthcare. Like kapag physio ka, rehab doctor lang ang kausap mo. Hindi mo masyadong matouch yung nursing-wise or yung mga GP-wise kasi may iba silang perception dun sa patient-wise. Right? Dito kasi, especially on my bedded unit, is meron kaming multidisciplinary team in which we are composed with nursing staff, healthcare assistant, allied health professionals, and doctor on that team for that day, every day. Meron siyang ganun lagi. Tapos may meetings kami. We collaborate. We help each other in terms of treating the patient itself. So talagang dito, hindi mo ma-feel na stupid kapag hindi mo alam yung case ng patient mo or what to do with the patient. Kasi they're very helpful on what the patient can do, what they observe with the patient. So which is really, really good in terms of your clinical practice. So kumbaga dito, ang practice ng physio is may progression in terms of training, seminars. It's up to you kung gusto mo pang umangat ng umangat. Unlike sa Philippines, minsan parang masa-stuck ka na ito na lang yung gagawin ko everyday. Yun. So, maganda siya. Kaya nga, sabi ko, hanggat maaari, kung pwedeng mas madaming Pinoy na pumunta dito. Like nurses na Pinoy dito. Kasi maganda yung practice. And mas ma-appreciate mong mag-handle ng patients dito. Although, yun nga, ang kinagandahan naman sa Pinas is mas madami kang caseload na makukuha in terms of different cases. Dito kasi minsan same cases lang yung makukuha mo. Pero other than that, marami kang trainings na ma-achieve.
Is the practice of physiotherapy dyan, is it independent practice like direct access in general, or kailangan pa rin as a requirement ng referral from GP, physician, or whatever?
Dito kasi, meron nga yung private company which is musculoskeletal. Sila silang GP. So, pwede siyang direct practice.
Okay.
Pwede naman, usually, humahanap sila ng GP referral or pwede silang directly sa practice. Sa amin naman, since galing silang step down from the unit itself, tinitingnan lang namin yung referral namin. Yun nga, i-compare ko siya sa Philippines na kapag sa Philippines, you have to, like, rehab doctors, you have to follow the rehab doctor first. Hindi ka pwedeng kumuha ng patients na hindi galing sa rehab doctor. Dito, kahit general practice lang yung doctor mo, pwede mong gawin lahat. And at the same time, you have your own decision-making on how you give the patient's management. Ikaw din ang magkakausap sa mga doctor. Like for me, if I see that the patient has edema, I will ask the doctor, can you check it? Can the patient have a scan kung may DVD siya? So, medyo siya, kumbaga, yung practice dito, medyo independent. Sort of.
Yeah. That's nice. Then. Yeah. Well, kasi yung setting mo step down kayo so automatically merong under the care of the the physician. Pero as you mentioned, in other settings na like outpatient, patients can directly access physical therapy. Okay. Same lang din dito na gano'n na for some outpatients, patients can just go in the clinic and see the PT. Pero like for hospitals and sa ibang settings like skilled nursing facilities and home health, merong dapat na under care ng physician yung pasyente. Okay. All right. So what would be your advice for our colleagues in the Philippines who are thinking about going to or working or having a career in the UK?
Huwag silang matakot. Kasi yung iba natatakot kasi nga, very intimidating yung process. It's a matter of siguro luck, and at the same time, if you have an experience for it, then go for it. Kasi processing-wise with the papers is madali lang. It's a matter of time, money, that's it. Siguro ang advice ko lang is, build up your confidence. Kasi dito, siguro ang pinakamahirap lang, wala siyang exam, pero ang mahirap na part is for you to have an employer to sponsor you. And at the same time, for the interview-wise, kasi you have to be confident with the interview. Kasi yun lang talaga medyo mahigpit yung ibang employer, kasi kailangan nila makita talaga yung practice mo. So what I usually say to my yung mga nagtatanong kung paano yung interview-wise, ganyan, is you have to be confident on answering the question. So, and you have to have a flow on the answering the question, like SOAP talaga, as in talagang, kumbaga, you are treating your panelists, kasi panel interview dito eh.
Okay.
So you are treating the panelists as your patient. So build more confidence, build more experience, pero huwag kayong matatakot mag-process and mag-take risk kasi in the long run, you will have something better na hindi nyo man ine-expect.
Would you suggest them to work in the Philippines for a while before applying sa UK, or right off the bat after license, apply na?
I think better to have an experience. Once you're here, makukulture shock ka. Kasi alaga ka sa Philippines eh. Hindi ka kakabahan kasi there is someone to back you up in terms of your practice itself. So you have to gain more experience. Siguro 2 years experience, that will suffice. Then go for it. Kung kaya mo na siya, na-feel mo na confident ka na mag-practice dito, go.
Yeah. I would also suggest that in anywhere na, kasi I don't know, it has, parang it gives that sense of I've done that, kaya ko rin gawin yan in other places, parang practice 1-2 years, have the feel of the practice, being a physio talaga, yung explaining, yung talaga yung ang malaking part natin sa as a physio eh. Dito talaga puro talk talaga eh. Talking sa patient.
Puro talk.
Puro talking. Parang hindi na masyadong physical therapy eh. Parang talk therapy na kadalasan eh. Like, no, yeah. So hindi man lang tayo dumadaan sa psychological Pero nasa talk therapy talaga tayo eh. Nasa changing behavior. Narinig ko somewhere yun na we're not just into improving physical dysfunction, but we're also changing behaviors. So yeah. So thank you for sharing your experience to us. And medyo nag-regret ako na nandito ako. Salamat. Salamat sa pagpapamukha na sa akin yan. No, joke lang. Pero yeah, so now we know that UK is another great opportunity to go to sa ating mga colleagues sa Philippines, sa if you would like some growth in your practice and try other countries, kasi mafe-feel mo talaga eh. Ayoko man sabihin i-advocate na umalis ka ng Pilipinas, pero mafe-feel mo yung difference eh when you work abroad. So probably work abroad, di ba? Dalhin mo sa Philippines yung practice, di ba? Yan, pwede yun. Before I let you go, I finished my podcast with my last bites, my last 3 questions. All right. So my last bite is, what is your recipe for success?
Prayers. And go beyond your box. Face your fears. Yan yung lagi kong inaano yung parang, and be confident because you're knowledgeable more than you know.
True. Exactly. Kaya natin makipagtapatan sa locally grown physios sa ibang bansa. Second last bite. Ito bago lang to, so hindi ko lang kung paano i-word to. So, for example, your patient is a guest sa banquet, sa handaan. What would you serve your patient? Ano ihahanda mo sa kanya to make their stay enjoyable? This is metaphoric, hindi talaga pagkain. Pero what would you offer your patient to make their stay in your clinic and in your care more enjoyable?
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea talaga.
Well, technically, dito kasi sa amin lalo na yung mga patient, laging, I need a cup So, yung cup of tea is like a very vital sa kanila. So, for me, I'm a vital part of their life in terms of giving them my expertise and my care, compassion and care to them. So, that's a very vital core as a being physiotherapist, is your compassion and care to them. So, a cup of tea is like really a good thing for patients here in UK to offer.
May natutulang bago, kapa.
Yeah,
Kappa.
kappa.
Yun yung short na nila sa cup of tea, kappa.
Kung magsa-start ka ng, do you want tea? Do you want a cup of tea? Until medyo sanay ka na, do you want a cup? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Wow! Okay.
Sila.
May natutunan akong bago. Kasi dito Joe cup of Joe. Parang Joe, coffee pala yun. Oh? Parang naging Joe yun. Alright, last bite is, what are the 3 things you carry with you that you think are essential? It can be a motto, a characteristic, a virtue, Bible verse, a saying that you carry with you every day. So in short, what are the 3 things that make up Mayvhin?
Um, Prayers, unang-una. Kasi, hindi ko kumbaga, pinagdasal ko din ng UK. From the start, then hindi ko na siya sinama sa unang-unang prayers ko yun. So nung naengganyo na ako na Australia na. Pero siguro yun yung isa sa mga naging vital sa akin, yung constantly I pray, not only for myself but also for my patients, on me handling the patient. So very important yun, especially when you're abroad and you feel like depressed or anything. Prayers is the key. Iiyak ka lang kay Lord. Okay na po ako. Lalaban na po ulit ako bukas. For work na po ulit ako. That's first thing. Second is confidence. Kasi hindi mo man alam ang mga bagay, malalaman mo yan. Kailangan mo lang mapatunayan sa sarili mo na you're willing to understand, you're willing to learn, and you're confident that you can do it. Kasi abroad, kung hindi ka confident, lalamunin ka nila ng buhay. So you have to parang kailangan mong ilabas yung confidence mo, and at the same time the patient will believe in you if they feel like you're very confident on what you say or on what you do. And third, your compassion and care. Yung compassion kasi we as Filipinos, pag nalaman ng mga patient mo na Filipino ka, they will mag-open sila sa'yo. Kumbaga, they're very helpful, they're very sweet, they're very confident in you in taking their case and stuff like that. And as a physiotherapist, kailangan mo talagang maging compassionate and you have care for the patient. So I think that's also what I wanted to impart with everyone, na lalo na yung mga students sa physio. Like, pinalaki ako ng PLM na galing na mahirap ang physio part, pero you have to be compassionate with the patient kasi sa pinagdaanan mo sa 5 taon na yun, kailangan mai-offer yun sa patient mo kasi very vital, kasi health yung hawak mo eh. So dapat compassionate ka talaga and dapat careful ka sa mga bagay-bagay kasi kailangan mong mapatunayan sa sarili mo na mahahandle mo ng maayos yung patient mo.
Agree. If you're not even compassionate, bakit ka pa nag-physio? Diba? Wag ka pa nandito sa profession natin. Okay, prayers, confidence, and compassion and care. I like what you said sa confidence. Like, it's one thing to be confident with what you know and expressing that, relaying that to your patient. It's also confident to accept that there are things that you don't know. Hindi naman lahat ng bagay pwede nating alam. Di ba? Maraming bagay na pwedeng bago or nakalimutan natin. Ang importante, like what you said, is you want to learn about that and, research on that and accept that there are things na hindi mo talaga malalaman right then and there. I like that. All right. So again, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. And I feel I know that we'll be inspiring a lot of our colleagues in the Philippines to chase their dreams of working in the UK. So as pabaon natin for a takeaway to go box natin sa mga listeners natin, what's one thing that you want them to take away from our conversation?
Prayers do mountains. Talaga. Move mountains kasi kung wala yun, hindi ka talaga mag-guide. And at the same time, siguro, face your fears. Kung natatakot ka mag-abroad ka. Kasi malay mo naman, di ba, nandun pa talaga yung calling mo. So, yun. And paulit-ulit ako sa confidence kasi hindi yun ang hindi dapat mawala sa iyo. Kasi yun dapat yung matutunan mo sa sarili mo na ipakita mo not only the physical part, but physically, and at the same time, kumbaga ikaw sa personality mo, dapat confident ka na makaharap hindi lang sa work but also socially yung mga tao. So yun.
All right. Again, thank you, Mayvhin, for being in the show. And we're gonna post the link dun sa Facebook group na kung saan they can, ask around if they're interested.
Ano na lang yung mga may interest doon kasi I asked someone yung mga nandito na kasi magkakaiba-iba kami ng practices. I'm from the bedded rehab, yung isa community, yung isa yung private direct. At least if you have any questions or if you have, we can share how we manage to go here, the processing itself, pwede kami makahelp. And now I'm trying to also make parang kung paano sumagot ng interview questions. So I'm trying to do that also na tinatry ko pa kung paano ko siya ilalagay lahat, kung paano niyo siya sasagutin, kung ano yung mga basic answers, questions. So I'm trying to do that also, to compile everything and to upload on that group so that you have knowledge on how to answer different types of interviews. So kung gusto niyo, interested kayo, hindi ko siya pinublic kasi gusto ko Pinoy lang talaga yung hindi ako madamot, pero kasi gusto ko mas mag-exceed ang Pinoy in terms of opportunities for Pinoy physios. Yes. We're trying to build a community. Hopefully, mas maraming show na dumating dito.
Ano din, like, I feel that kung sino talaga yung na pupunta doon, kasi hindi nga siya public, sila talaga yung very interested in learning more, you're building communities na really into that topic, hindi lang yung dahil gusto lang nila makita or makinig.
And so, one more kasi kung mapapansin niyo, mabilis yung process ko. Kung mapapansin niyo, mabilis yung pagpunta ko dito at parang naging maayos yung transition. Hindi siya ganun hindi hindi for everyone ganun. Kaya minsan sabi ko nga, dinidiscourage ko yung iba minsan. Parang kumbaga nagbibigay din ako ng negative points in terms of ano yung ibang processing. Kasi baka kasi lang maingganyo lang sila kasi nga mabilis yung processing ko. Pero hindi pa din. Marami pa din siyang kailangan tahakin or madami pa din siyang pagdadaanan. So kung talagang interested kayo as what you said, join it. Para lang din aware kayo, may options kayo on where to go. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna post that in the show notes so that you can join that group and ask around sa mga physios, Pinoy physios in there. Okay? Yeah. All right. Until next time, kung yung mga nakikinig na hindi pa nakakapag-subscribe and sa podcast, which is available Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, at other podcast, marami So hindi ko sabi, and YouTube as well. And like us in Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. All right, until next time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayvhin.
Thank you.